employee experience in this Oh, all right. So we all know the need for employees to embrace uh, mental health and also to improve on the employees' well-being. There's a growing emphasis on employee well-being, with companies implementing initiatives to support mental health, work-life balance, workplace safety, physical wellness, flexible work schedule, mindfulness programs, and remote work options are some examples of these initiatives that is gaining ground in the workplace. Flexible work arrangement that I just mentioned as well. Employers are increasingly offering flexible work arrangements such as flexi time, uh, compressed work weeks, where you know exactly what you expect of an employee within a period of time. I mean, probably in a week, and you encourage this employee to put in the work. It doesn't matter whether it takes them 2 days or 3 days or even one day to do. And once they are able to accomplish that, they are free for the rest of the week. So we see some of these kind of flexi work arrangements on the rise. Yeah. And then uh, compressed work week, job sharing to accommodate diverse employee needs and preferences. We have employees who now probably opt for part-time work and job sharing where somebody do not have to be in the workplace for maybe 8 hours. Some people can do 4 hours, another person do 4 hours. That is actually beginning to gain ground in Nigeria economy as well. And that you will see on the rise, more of which we will see on the rise this year. And this particular statistics here shows the difference between flexible employees with flexible job options and those without flexible job option. And this is talking about their wellness, right? So the work-life balance for the employees with flexible job options recorded about 54% compared to 29% of those who don't have uh, such option. So you see that employees with this kind of flexible job options experience work-life balance. They are able to attend to some other things that are critical and impactful to them compared to those who don't have such. And you know, some of the things that this thing translates to is productivity, employee retainership, employee retention, uh, um, better performance, and also it also somehow affect the bottom line for the business, right? Stressed by their level of work-life balance, stressed by their level of work-life balance. So the employee, 21% of employees who have the flexible job options are stressed by their level of work-life balance compared to 43% of those who don't have such option. So you can see the disparity, and probably those who fall within this category for the employees with the flexible job options who are still experiencing stress are probably those who are overworking themselves. Maybe they have 2 or 3 jobs, and yeah, so they are still experiencing some level of stress, or probably there are some issues, personal issues, and that is making them to be stressed. Economic instability, political unrest, and the likes, right? Then we have percentage of those employees whose boss work habit make work-life balance easy for them. So again, leadership play a critical role in what happened to the employee. So even if you say whether or not you experience or you embrace remote work, or you apply flexible work arrangements in your organization, if you as a leader you are not balanced, it will somehow affect the employees as well. If you are not organized, if you are not you don't know how to manage your time properly, it will definitely affect the employees who are also working for such leader. So we have 35% of employee with flexible job options still complaining about the fact that their bosses' work habits is affecting their work-life balance. So these people is not a case of they do not have work-life balance. They actually have work-life balance program, but the habits of their boss or their superior is affecting or eating into their personal time, and then it's affecting them. Then 14% of the employees without flexible job options are saying that their bosses' work habits make work-life balance easy for them. So you see the reason why this is actually low is probably because these people are not even used to work-life balance. They don't even have anything like work-life balance. So they are already stressed, and probably this complaint is far beyond what somebody who fall under this category, will complain about, right? So if you look at it, these people are far stressed than these people, right? And that's why you have this number at 14%. Then percentage of those whose bosses' work habits make work-life balance difficult for them, yeah, is so you're looking at people with flexible job option as 27%, and then people without flexible work job options at 40%. So these people are saying that, yes, we are aware of the fact that there is a need for us to embrace work-life balance, but our bosses' work habit is not making that to happen. Yeah. Another one is gig economy. Another trend in the current work landscape and in Nigeria is gig economy. We all know that people are looking for another alternative to actually cater or meet their needs right now. So the gig economy continue to grow with more individual opting for freelances or contract work instead of traditional full-time employment. Platform like Uber, Upwork, and Fiverr have actually been able to facilitate this trend, and they are offering opportunity for individual people to work independently and determine when they want to work. So, but you see, another danger to this is that people now overwork themselves, or people working in taking 2 or 3 or 4 different kinds of job just to meet their daily needs. Then another thing on the high rise is AI automation. Automation technologies, including artificial intelligence and robotics, are transforming industries by augmenting human capabilities through automation of repetitive, rule-based tasks that are traditionally being done by human beings before now. And some of those kind of tasks are job. You see, probably data scientists. AI is used extensively in data science for tasks such as data analysis, predictive modeling, machine learning, algorithm development, and so on. Another one is software developer. Also, AI is increasingly integrated into software development processes for tasks like code generation, testing automation, and optimizing performance. Another one is customer service representative. AI-powered chatbots and virtual assistants handle customer inquiries, provide support, and resolve issues through natural language processing. And all of these things translates to um, reduction in the workforce for the organization that actually embrace AI automation. Financial analyst also is another job that is being affected by AI automation. AI algorithm analyze market data, perform risk assessment, and generate investment insights to assist financial analysts in decision making. Then in healthcare, also, AI is also assisting healthcare professionals in tasks like medical diagnosis, treatment planning, and patient monitoring through technologies such as medical imaging analysis and predictive analytics. Then for digital marketers, AI tools analyze customer data, automate advertising, campaigns, and personalize marketing messages to optimize digital marketing strategies. And people are now even beginning to learn how to, I mean, there are easy ways for people to design their, um, what's it called, their graphics through different software that is available to people out there. Then what about us, human resource specialists? AI is used for tasks such as resume screening, candidate sourcing, and employee engagement analysis to streamline HR processes. And as time goes on, we'll continue to experience more innovations and invention of different AI to meet different needs. Supply chain manager, AI optimizes supply chain operations by forecasting demand, managing inventory, and optimizing logistics to ensure efficient, cost-effective operation. How about journalists? Journalists also have a kind of AI tools that generate news article, analyze data for investigative journalism, and assist in content creation for media organization. Even sales representatives are also not left out. AI analyzes customer data, predicts buying behavior, and recommends personalized products offering to sales representatives to enhance sales effectiveness. And you know what this means. So in the situation whereby you think, in fact, this even work more for a lot of people. Just have a few set of tech guys who can come up with this kind of data and then work with lesser sales representatives that will deploy the strategies that have been gathered through this AI automation. How about translator? AI power language translation tools assist translators in converting text or speech between different languages with high accuracy and efficiency. And we can go on and on and on, from teacher to legal to architect to real estate agents to farm managers to content creators, insurance underwriters, transportation manager, research scientists, and so on and so forth. And then another trend is remote work. Remote work, since COVID-19 pandemic accelerated the adoption of remote work, with many companies embracing remote work or hybrid work. Avi, here is actually a graph which summarized the global trend for of remote work over the last 5 years. And this is a research conducted by Professionals NG in 2023. So if you look at the graph, we are seeing the growth, how remote work has been embraced, yeah, by these 4 countries. in the year between 2028 to 2020, the remote work moved from 0 to about 50, 60% or thereabout, 60, 65% thereabout, and then came down for India to about 53% and 51% for Australia. But between the year 2020 to 2022, 2023, we experienced growth, high acceptance of remote work and hybrid work across these different economy. So the two things that stand out for me in this graph is that number one, the graph showcases a steady rise in global remote work. Yeah, and then in Nigeria, there's a spike in the last 2 years, which is clearly visible from the 50s, 60, about 78% to 200% increase in remote work adoption. And so you may be losing employees to lack of remote work if you do not have such implemented in your organization yet. Yeah. So rise of remote work tools also, due to the wide acceptance of remote work, there has been a rise in the remote work tools. The proliferation of remote work has led to the rise of tools and technologies designed to support virtual collaboration, communication, and project management, from video management or video conferencing platforms, to virtual whiteboards such as Zoom, Milo, Evernote, Notion, Microsoft Teams, Google Workplace, Google Drive, Every Time Zone, Okta, Asana, Dropbox, Extensio, to mention a few, and a whole lot of them. So these two enable seamless remote work experiences in these places where remote work has become an order of the day. So another thing, another trend is diversity and inclusion. Okay. Yeah, DEI. Diversity and inclusion is a situation whereby organizations are prioritizing diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts to create more equitable workplaces. And there is never a time or a better time to embrace DEI than now, where we now have a global network, a global open workspace where Indians, people from different race and different colors are working together, even without seeing each other. So this includes diversifying talents, pipelines, implementing inclusive policies, eliminating biases, be it gender-based, religious, cultural differences, just to foster a culture of belonging for everybody in the organization. And then skill-based hiring is another thing that is trending. So among that is also adaptation to changing work environment, with involving aspect of work, including remote work and hybrid models. Employee expectations are changing. HR needs to stay abreast of these challenges, create policies that will enable them to attract the right employees. So talking about skill-based hiring. Skill-based hiring is a practice that is particularly driven by the need for specialized skills in the industries undergoing rapid technological advancement and changes and transformation. Some examples of this industry include information technology. So with the widespread of digital technologies, including cloud computing, cybersecurity, data analytics, and artificial intelligence, there is a high demand for professionals with expertise in some areas, such as healthcare and biotechnology, engineering and advanced manufacturing, finance and fintech, digital marketing and e-commerce, renewable energy and sustainability, artificial intelligence and machine learning, cybersecurity, I think I've mentioned that, creative industries, supply chain and logistics. So this set of people, a lot of time you may not get these people from, I mean, as a graduate and some. So you probably have to look for people who have the skill. You prioritize skill above or over certificates sometimes. Okay, so factors that will affect employee retention in 2024 as I round up my session here. Employee retention, you will agree with me, is simply the ability of a company to maintain employee engagement and work satisfaction while lowering turnover. So turnover is one of the things that kill our effort as human resource practitioners. And this speaks to the actions taken by a company and its HR managers to keep its current workforce and stop workers from quitting the job, their job of their own volition. So that is it. When you have employees living on their own accord, it's a sign that you are suffering from employee turnover. HR manager needs to focus on employee retention because a high employee turnover rate is very expensive and it can disrupt, it can be a disruptor to business, which is why employee turnover rather results in costs associated with hiring, onboarding, and training new hires. Losing seasoned workers can also have detrimental effects to your business and also have effect on the morale of the employees that are left behind. How about institutional knowledge that you have impacted on these employees, about product knowledge, about the product secrets that, so this thing affects productivity, sustainability, and even sometimes profitability. So what are these factors? Number one is job satisfaction. Various surveys actually show that job satisfaction among employees in Nigeria has been a concern over a period of time. And with the rise of, with the way things are going, this will continue to be an issue until there is economic stability in the country. Low salaries is one of those things that will contribute to job satisfaction or will affect job satisfaction. Another one is inadequate benefits due to the fluctuation in the economy as well, the increase in cost of living and all, poor working condition, lack of career development opportunities for people, lack of career progressions, as companies are trying to cut their costs right now. So there may be no much need for them to, give room for people to grow within the company. Economic factors also, high cost of living due to the economic unrest, so to say, if we may put it that way, high rise in the number of employees craving remote work. You will also experience this because people will start telling you they are spending too much money on transportation and commuting to work. Cost-cutting measure leading to layoff by employer, delay in salary payments, which will definitely affect the employee morale. High decrease in employee morale, of course, and increase in employee moonlighting leading to decrease in productivity. So when people are not getting what they're supposed to get, you see them probably working for another company or even working for a competitor at any given opportunity. So there's going to also be impacted by increasing in employee turnover rates at the end of the day. And then another one is employee turnover rate itself. High turnover will continue to be a challenge in the industries and sectors such as banking, oil and gas, and fintech. Why? Is because this industry may experience struggle in retaining top talent due to competition, gapper syndrome, limited opportunity for career advancements. The gapper syndrome was very, very common last year, between 2022 and 2023. And maybe because of the FX issues and probably UK policy that is restricting certain people from bringing in their dependent. Maybe that may reduce anyway, but people will always find a way out of this kind of situation at any time. How about employee engagement? But anyway, there's a good news here for employee engagement. Any organization who is currently practicing or have a good employee engagement strategies or programs may actually benefit from this issue. These factors. Engaged employees are more likely to stay with their employers. Companies that invest in employee engagement initiatives such as training and development programs, recognition schemes, and work-life balance initiatives may experience high retention rates in this year 2024. About FX issues, though I've spoken briefly about that, FX issues will make it more difficult for companies to attract top talent because of salary expectations and probably work schedule expectation. People are now bold to demand what they want. Yeah, so and negotiate for what they want to earn as well. So difficulty in recruiting skilled employees can increase workload and stress for existing staff, leading to burnout and eventually turnover. How about fluctuation in the exchange rate, which can also further affect the purchasing power of employees through their salary, and employers may be forced to consider salary adjustment to compensate for inflation caused by FX fluctuation. Of course, these employers are also affected by this same situation, but employees will always want to get more in order to compensate for the cost of living and things that they put, the more time, energy and things they sacrifice for the work to continue. So companies may reconsider, to reduce employee benefits such as health insurance, retirement contributions, and training programs to mitigate the impact of FX issues on their bottom line. And this may not also, in the long run, go well for this kind of employers in a situation whereby they begin to lose their talent. It may cost them more to get these people back by the time the issues of FX and all the normal economic instability issues that we are having is over. And this is my presentation. Thank you so much for listening. And if there's any question, I would take. If there's none, maybe just one or two questions I would take. If there's none, we'll move straight to presentation by our guest speaker. Once again, welcome and thank you for joining us. So right about now, I'll call on our guest speaker from the US to make his presentation as I read his profile. Okay. Just 1 minute, please. George, please, are you there? Let me confirm that.
Yes, hi.
Okay, thank you. All right. Our guest speaker is George Nodemdu. He studied international studies, international relations from North Carolina State University and proceeded to University of District of Columbia for master's degree in non-profit public organizational management. And currently, our guest speaker is Managing Director, Global Operations for Human Resource Certification Institute. Prior to that time, he has served as Research and Partnership Development Manager for the same organization. And due to his impressive performance, he was promoted to the position of Director of International Business Development and Partnership, and currently he is in operation. Thank you so much for having you, for joining, brother George Nodendu. It's now your time for presentation. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for the invitation. First of all, thank you to Temitope Aloba and for the opportunity to speak to all of you this evening. As mentioned, I go by JD Namdedeo, Global Director of Management Operations at HRCI. Today, I want to talk to you about the certifications that HRCI offers for the international HR professionals. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen to help me navigate the presentation. Hopefully everybody can see my screen now.
Yes, we can.
I'm going to focus on the international certifications that HRCI has. HRCI has a suite of 4 international certifications for professionals in human resources field. No matter where you are in your career with HR, we have something that is definitely going to be of your interest. I'm also happy to be joining today with our colleagues from CIPM in Nigeria, also in the world of certification, very valuable organization, and their national certifications in Nigeria. Think of us as the international certification for those of you who are working for multinational corporations or looking to work with in a global environment. That's kind of what I want you to keep in mind as I go through this. But for those of you who don't know who HRCI is, we are really the gold standard of accredited HR certifications. We have been around for 50 years. During those 50 years, we have certified over 500,000 people virtually all over the world, over 125 different countries. And I have mentioned we have certifications for HR professionals for all levels, from the foundational to the mid-level operational, every professional, and the strategic, the more senior certification. So we always try to provide something that is relevant in every space, in every market, in every country, independently of whatever HR legislation, labor laws are implemented. The reason why we know that we are effective and the reason why we know that we are recognized and why we are recognized as the gold standard is because 93% of Fortune 500 companies have HR professionals that have HRCI certifications. So that is the practical way of analyzing that what we have to offer is something that is recognized at the highest levels of the corporate and organizational environment. Our international certifications are built according to the capability model that you see on the screen. Always with the HR professional in the middle, surrounded by everything that makes that professional have an impact in the organization that they serve. So the shareholders, the society, the plans that the organization has, what is dedicated to the customers that they serve, all of that matters. And we keep that in mind as we build our certifications. As you can see in the breakdown, our certifications are built with different components. In the case of the foundational certification, the APHRI at the top, it's 100% knowledge. What this means is that all you have to do is study and you should be able to pass the exam because it's just about absorbing information. In fact, this certification is open to anyone. You don't have to be in HR. You don't have to have a university degree. Anyone can have access to this. And I'll speak a little bit more about that in a minute. And then next, you can see some of the other certifications. You have not only knowledge, but capability. What that means by capability is that you really have to have an experiential level of knowing how to implement that knowledge. And you're going to need that because when you apply for the exam and you take the exam, there are going to be some questions that is not just about understanding what HR is all about. It's about how you implement the knowledge that you have in HR. And that's one of the requirements that we have for some of those certifications. And I will also address that in a minute. So when you get certified, you get noticed. We all know that in this global environment in which we are competing with talent, and HR is without a doubt in demand. And there's a lot of moving parts in global operations and a lot of HR employees who have to serve in multiple places. But how do you make sure that you differentiate yourself? How do you make sure that among your colleagues, you're the one that stands out, that when you're applying for a new position, that you're the one that really has an edge over the other candidates? Certification is going to give that to you. And not only that, but it's also going to contribute to have a higher annual income, to be able to grow that income faster because of your certification and the knowledge that you acquire. you're going to be happy with your career. We have some data that shows that those who are certified enjoy more the position that they hold. And also, as I mentioned, it's going to give you an advantage in the job market when people have to select the next candidate for that position, either in the organization that you're already serving or in whatever other organization you're trying to get into. So as I mentioned at the beginning, no matter what you do in HR, no matter what position you hold, where you are in your career within the HR world, we're going to have a certification that is really going to be relevant to what you do. So as you can see, we have our certifications with the different levels and a road map, a pathway towards what it could be growing as an HR professional. And you can see some of the positions, the titles that we usually see in the profession. And you can see how we have mapped out so that you can kind of see where you are today or where you might be and what are the certifications that are going to help you. Again, APHRI, the foundational certification, is the entry level certification. The mid level is the operational, the everyday HR program manager. And then we have the more strategic senior certifications with the SPHRI and the GPHR. So let's get into the different certifications. APHRI, Associate Professional in Human Resources International. This is the early career certification. That's the one that as you start your HR career, maybe you just finish your HR degree, or maybe you don't have any kind of university degrees, but you want to get into HR. That is totally possible because the APHRI is going to give you the basic, the fundamentals of what HR is all about. Even more, this certification was built with the intention of not just to be the the platform from which you launch your career in HR, but it was meant for managers of teams, so that they could really understand what they need to provide in terms of those HR services, and so that they could have communications with the HR department in an efficient way. So you don't have to have any background in HR, you don't need to have any HR experience. You can see here the what we call the exam content outline with the different functional areas. Those are the areas that appear in the exam, and the percentages are going to be the weight of how many questions are going to appear in the exam. At the bottom, you can see 65 score questions with 25 pretest questions. The 25 pretest questions are questions that we are testing in real time to see how people perform on those, to see if those are going to be questions that people understand, that they're able to perform well, so that we can recognize them for scoring. And then the time that the exam is going to be all about. So in this exam, as you can see, it really focuses on just the basic HR operations, how to recruit people, how to interact with employees, what is all about compensation, and just how to maintain that relationship with your employees by retaining them. So it's really efficient for anybody who is hiring people, who is doing admin in that capacity, or for any HR a position really, but also for managers. As I said, maybe you are the boss, the manager for 5, 10 people, and you want to make sure that you retain that team strong. So this is going to be something that is also going to help. So don't just think about HR. The next level up, this is the PHRI, Professional Human Resources International. This certification does require to have some HR experience. So if you don't have any kind of university degree, you're going to need to have at least 4 years of HR experience. If you have a bachelor's degree, an undergraduate degree, you're going to need 2 years of HR experience. And with a master's degree or higher, with 1 year of HR experience, you can already qualify to take this exam. When it comes to the areas that are covered in this exam, as you can see, it's a little bit more into business, a little bit more into how to make things happen on a more structural and overall way for an HR department. And you can see the number of questions, 90 score questions, 2 hours and 15 minutes for this exam. Next level up is the more senior certification, SPHRI, Senior Professional in Human Resources International. This is the strategic certification. The way that we like to refer to this certification is the one for the HR director or the CHRO who needs to understand what is the company, what is the organization dedicated to, what is ultimately the objective of this team, this organization, and how do I understand the policies, the regulations in my country, in Nigeria, to make sure that this is going to be something that we can do in the most efficient way with the resources that we have available. So there's a lot of strategy playing there, and we want to make sure that the person who is in charge of all those resources in HR is able to implement that in the best possible way. Going to the requirements, with no education, you're going to need 7 years of HR experience. With an undergraduate degree, 5 years of HR experience. And with a master's degree or higher, 4 years of HR experience. Now let's take a look at what's included in this exam. There's not a lot in terms of content, but as you can see, it's very heavy on leadership, on strategy, on how to understand what is the talent that you need for the purpose of your organization, how to build an overall HR department and policy. So that's exactly what this is all about. So most likely, this is what somebody, again, who is the director of the HR department or the chief human resources officer needs to go after. 115 score questions in 2 hours and 45 minutes. The next one is the Global Professional Human Resources, the GPHR. This is the certification meant for HR professionals who are responsible for multiple countries. So let's say that you're operating in Nigeria, but you're also responsible for HR in Ghana and maybe some other countries that your company has presence in. Maybe you work for a multinational corporation and you work in the regional headquarters for maybe the whole African continent. So this is exactly the type of certification that is meant for those professionals. This certification was born as a result of when the global expansion in the early 2000s was taking place, and globalization was really reaching every corner of the planet. And we saw that HR needed to get to a new level. That's why we built this certification. It's also a strategic certification because, as you can imagine, you have to be responsible for multiple countries. So there's a lot to take into consideration. What are the requirements? With no education, you need 4 years of HR experience minimum. If you have an undergraduate degree, 3 years of HR experience, and with a master's or higher, 2 years. When you look at the components that build this exam, as you can see, it's everything global, and it's all about global mobility. It's about how to maintain a culture that is cohesive across different countries and cultures and religions and languages, and how to make sure that you're able to implement the same level of efficiency for the same organization in multiple places. I wonder if you know somebody who works in a similar position. Ask them about the GPHR. They probably have heard about it, or they even hold a GPHR. In terms of the exam itself, 65 score questions, 1 hour and 45 minutes. So these are the exam for the certifications that I wanted to share with you. What does it mean? How do you go about this? So you can go to hrci.org, create a free online profile. In that profile, you just kind of going to enter your email and your name, and you can immediately receive information about the certifications that are all about. Maybe sign up for the newsletter and get a little more familiar with what's all about. When you're ready to apply for the exam, you can apply for the exam by filling out all the information about your education, about your HR experience, previous jobs that you had. And when you're ready to apply, you go ahead and pay for the exam. You can prepare on your own. You can prepare through some of the multiple certification preparation providers that we have all over the country and all over the world in different ways, maybe in person, maybe online. There's different ways that you can go about this. And this is something that HRCI is quite flexible because we understand that people learn in different ways. Then you take the exam, and the exam is going to be with our exam administrators, Pearson VUE. They have test centers all over the world, and they're able to provide you with a computer-based exam that is going to have all the questions according to the functional areas that we've been seeing. And when you earn your degree, you receive a digital badge, something that you can put on your LinkedIn profile, on your email, and you also receive the PDF, which you can download for to print a diploma. So here's an example of how the exams are proctored. There's always going to be an independent computer in which you're going to take the exam, and a proctor is going to be the person who's kind of monitoring, making sure that everything is going according to plan. So how do HR professionals stay relevant? People think that a certification is like a degree. That is something that you take an exam, you're good to go for life. That's really not the case. The purpose of certification is, one, to go through an exam, and two, to maintain that certification active. And by maintaining it active, what we mean is continuous education. We all know how much HR has changed and continues to change, and we know it's going to keep changing because of AI and so many other things that are coming our way. So you have to maintain up to date everything that is happening in HR, and that's where the recertification process comes in. Recertification takes place every 3 years. Once you're certified, you have to maintain your certification active by accumulating credits. So let's say that you have the APHRI. You have 3 years to accumulate 45 recertification credits. Those credits can be received by attending courses, by attending webinars, by attending conferences. We have a long list of over 1,500 providers that have different types of activities that you can join. Some of them are free, some of them are paid, that you are able to accumulate those credits. And the other ones are going to be 60, with some that are going to be specific credits. For example, for the SPHRI, you're going to need business credits to make sure that you're in line with what's happening in the business world. And for the GPHR, 15 global credits with content that is really relevant to the global HR environment. When you receive those total credits, then you submit your recertification and you maintain that credential active for another 3 years. This is an example of the digital badge that you receive when you pass. So here's my name. I'm GPHR certified. I have this in my email signature. I also have this on my LinkedIn profile. I also have a diploma that I can print if I want to put this on a wall, just to make sure that people know that I'm certified. Beyond the certification exams that we offer, I want to make sure that you don't think of us as just the institute that certifies people. We also offer different types of content. We have books, we have a LinkedIn group that I'm going to share with you in the chat in a minute. We host webinars every Thursday in a series that we call Alchemizing HR. We have quite a lot of people from Nigeria who join us, and the content is broad enough that somebody from wherever they are located, they can really enjoy what the content is all about. And they're approved for recertification credit. So once you're certified, you can watch the webinars every Thursday and you get 1 free recertification credit. We also have blogs, and we have a learning center online that you can have access to plenty of learning opportunities. And I also want to share with you a digital book that I'm going to put also in the chat so that you can have access to this digital book. It's The Rise of HR with thoughts from 73 leaders. This is prior to the pandemic, but it's surprising how accurate they got some of the issues that we were going to face as the world was changing. So I just wanted to share something else with you so that you are able to think of us as not just the exam providers, but also providing good content for you. And that's it. That's all I wanted to share with you today. I thank you for the opportunity. And if there are any questions about the certification programs, I'll be happy to answer those. I'll go ahead and put that information in the chat for all of you. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, George. That was a very powerful presentation. I'm sure there are one or two questions, but we would like to take the presentation of Benga today. And after that, we'll come back for the question and answer session. Okay, just
Perfect.
hang around for a few minutes, and that is his LinkedIn page, so you can follow him and get more information on the go. Thank you so much. And right about now, we're going to be bringing in our last but not the least guest speaker for today, and is Benga Odetunde Samuel, MRPP, FCE, ACIPM, HRPL. Benga is the Director of Professional Standards and Development at the Chartered Institute of Personnel Management of Nigeria, the prestigious. He is a creative thinker with about 2 decades of cumulative experience in policy development, analysis and evaluation, management, HR consulting, standards development, knowledge management, socio-economic and business researching, curriculum development and integration, professional examination planning and execution, learning and development, certifications and licensing. Benga holds a bachelor degree in economics and a master degree in research and public policy from the University of Lagos. Is a fellow of the Institute of Chartered Economists of Nigeria and associate member of the CIPM with valid HR practitioner's license. He is a PhD student of University of Ibadan and a registered member of International Organization for Standardization. Benga is a member of the advisory board of the National Open University. With a round of applause and standing ovation, please make welcome Benga Samuel Odetunde to the HR with TA guest speaker event. Thank you so much, Benga.
Thank you so much, TA. Thank you for having me. And thanks to George for that presentation he made earlier. Thank you. Without wasting our time, I just want to talk about the topic that have been given to me. I want to say good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are listening to us from all over the world. Expanding the frontiers of HR certification. As we know, in the current dispensation, that there is no doubt about the importance of the role of professional certification in personal and professional development. We cannot, underplay that. It is very, very important because it is a distinct differentiator when it comes to what is required to deliver across different professions. Professional certification is a stamp and symbol of value to the certified individuals. And when it is, when we're talking about the HR certification, there is this uniqueness about the HR certification because it deals with this significant resource, the resource of significant value for people. It is only factor of production, created by God and of course created in his own image. So why do we need, or why is HR certification highly important in everything we do day to day? It deals with the creature of diverse nature. And as you agree with me, that people, they are of different background, different IQ, different educational background, different upbringing and all that. Different. There are a lot of things that are inherent in people only that you cannot predetermine. Take, for instance, there are a lot of involuntary action, and all these things affect our performance. And anybody that is going to manage people for optimal performance, for optimal result, should have the skill required for doing so. When you are certified as an HR person, you need to ensure that you are able to get the temperature required for people to perform optimally. So HR quackery cannot ensure the right temperature for optimal performance at all. So you need to be certified as HR professional to be able to do what you are expected to do. You need that certification. There is no doubt, no two ways about that. It has to be done for you to be considered as a person qualified enough to manage people. In CIPM and for CIPM, there is a differentiator that differentiates a certified person, a certified human resource manager, and it's because of the process you go through for you to be certified. For CIPM, there's what we call CIPM body of knowledge, is a differentiator, and it is the anchor of everything we do. All our certification process is guided by this, and our body of knowledge is a public document. It is on the website of CIPM. It states what HR professionals should know to be able to do what they're expected to do. Is it in workforce management? You want to attract talent. There is a special skill that is required for you to be able to give people the learning intervention required to support the business. There's a special skill required for you to be able to, coordinate people in such a way that manage them in such a way that it will bring about optimal performance. There is a skill set required, of course, for you to be able to reward them, compensate them adequately, bring about compensation and reward that is commensurate with whatever output they are producing. There is a set of competence required. Of course, you know that people, like I mentioned at the introductory part of this presentation, people of diverse background, diverse intellect, but diverse education, diverse exposure, and all that. So there is a skill set that is required. There is a competence that is required for you to be able to manage all these people, bring them together, and to produce optimal results for the organization, and ensure that you manage them in such a way that you retain them. So it is very, very important that you have what is required. And as a person, you should be able to know how to ensure that whatsoever you are proposing as HR strategy aligns with the organization's objective. You ensure that there is a special skill required for you to be able to do this. In the certification process, you are exposed to all these things. You need to know how to ensure that you have the right quantity and quality of people and the organization at every point in time. You should be able to know the composition of roles in that organization that will support the delivery of the ultimate goal of that organization at every point in time. You should be able to know how to support the business growth with leveraging technology. You should be able to know that. For members of CIPM or members of CIPM, you will see that where there is a one of our codes, code 3. When you read our code of professional conduct, you will see there, code 3, to respect the laws of the land. So in practicing HR, you need to know, be exposed to different laws affecting that practice. So these are the things that our certification process give to you. You should know the risk associating with the business and associating with the HR role that you are handling. You should be able to know that there are so many things across the globe. What is a global village now? So what happens in one country affects the other one. In Nigeria, for instance, the issue of JAPA, we call it JAPA, that is migration of people from Nigeria to other places, is telling on the country now. So what is happening in other country, what is happening in your country, and what is happening in other country affects. And today we have a lot of people residing in Nigeria, but working for people in America, outside Nigeria, and vice versa. There are people outside Nigeria working for organizations that are Nigeria-based. So as HR professional, you are expected to get the competencies for doing all this. And not only that, for you to be able to do that effectively, you should be able to understand the business and how you drive continuous improvement. And there's no how you can do this if you do not have analytical perspective. Those are the things that being a member of CIPM, being certified by CIPM, will given to you as a person, and that is why it is a differentiator. We know that everything is about people, is about relationship management, is about effective communication, is about global mindset. And being certified through CIPM will expose you to all this. How do you lead people within the ethical practice to ensure that you deliver results to organization? As CIPM will do all this, we anchor everything around the core value. And if you see the previous slide that I shared, CIPM core value is at the center of everything. What are the core values? Service, creativity, respect for all, integrity, professionalism, and teamwork. If you are certified by CIPM, what is the need for you as a person? Have the superior competence, performance, and behavior. Of course, to do your work. And when you do your work and you achieve success, there is how this trigger inner energy, positive energy, to motivate you and ensure that you are motivated to do more. And once you have this, there is a reward for good work and hard work. So you are rewarded sustainably because you are performing consistently. So, and with that, you have that edge, above other people who are not certified. You have that edge. And as time goes on, you will have developed professional credibility in such a way that you are considered as an authority. Even in many cases, when you make a mistake, people will consider it the right way because you have been assumed to know everything. So those are the things. There are a lot of things for you. So why CIPM? In Nigeria, for instance, the CIPM is the only body that is chartered by law to regulate the practice of human resource management. And you can check. We were chartered by Decree number 58 of 1992, now Act Cap I-15, LFN 2004. And CIPM has a mandate to determine what the standard of knowledge and skills are to be attained by persons seeking to become people management practitioners or professionals in Nigeria. We are raising those standards from time to time through our efforts enabling effective and impactful people management and organizational development in associated area. Associated area means across the HR value chain. We have our strength, the legal framework, as we have mentioned earlier. We are chartered by the law of the land, and you have access to resources. Like I mentioned earlier, there are resources, we have. I told you about the body of knowledge earlier. The body of knowledge is a public document. And in addition to that, there is a competency assessment tool that we have. So that one enables you to go assess yourself. You see where you are, and you're able to map it versus where you want to be. And the gap will be shown very clearly. And of course, the resources that you need to close the gap are recommended for you. So it's a matter of showing you the way, and you taking your destiny by your hand by ensuring that you go through the competency assessments. And of course, you see where the gaps are, where you know where you are versus where you are going to. And whatsoever is going to take you to where you want to be, you have the liberty to close the gap, because there's a pointer that is pointing you towards that direction. You have the code of professional conduct that guides our members' behavior in everything that we do, coaching and mentoring framework. In CIPM, there are two things that we do majorly. The first thing is the process that brings in members, certify them, and put it on the register of CIPM. That's the first thing. The second thing is the process that sees through the development of those members over their lifetime. So there are different programs designed to develop the capability of members. Just like George mentioned earlier, we have the process to ensure that you continuously improve yourself, and we gauge your improvement through our recertification process. And that's the essence of the HR practitioner's license. And when you are validated today, so it will be valid for the next 3 years. The next 3 years, we want to see what you have done as a person and how far you have developed, you have grown within the profession. That will determine the validity, whether we are going to recertify you or not. So that if you are not measuring up to expectation, of course, it's like we have the same standard in terms of credit points that you have to accumulate to enable you to revalidate 60 credit points. You need that at any point in time. And of course, we know that the world is a global village, so there is affiliation everywhere to ensure that we are not doing what we are doing in isolation. We are doing it with international best practice. So what the Federation of People Management Association, we are active there, African Human Resource Confederation, our president of CIPM, Mr. Olusegun Mojeed of CIPM, is the current vice president at the African Human Resource Confederation, to ensure that we rub ideas, we rub minds on the practice of human resource management that relates to our continent, to ensure that we localize everything we are doing, because we have a unique need as a people in the continent. Yes. International Federation of Training and Development Organization, we are a member. So presently we are in partnership with the CIPD UK. They have what they call profession map, that is equivalent of our own body of knowledge that I shared earlier. And we ensure that we map the two documents together. So where we align in terms of their profession map and our own body of knowledge, then we have exemption. Then where we have differences, there is a conversion program that we are currently designing to ensure that whosoever is a member of CIPM wants to become a member of CIPD, for instance, they just go through that conversion program based on the differences we have identified between their profession map and the body of knowledge. So that's what we are doing currently. So we regulate the practice of human resource management in the country. The next step in conclusion, let me stop there. Hope you enjoyed the session. And if you do not yet belong to CIPM, you have a decision to make today. What are you waiting for? Welcome on board to CIPM, the Institute of Choice for People Management. We deliver value to people. We use the collaborative or collective wisdom of different stakeholders to deliver our value. So in terms of different routes of membership, we know that the only profession that cuts across everything that people do is the HR profession. So for each category of people, we have a membership route. So all you need to do is to visit www.cipmnigeria.org, our website. You'll find it there. We have for people, for instance, who do not have HR experience. They don't have HR experience. You just finished school and you just graduated and you have less than 7 years work experience. So you come through the examination route. But if you have up to 7 years post-graduation experience, and of course, you've been practicing for about 5 years, then we check and assess you and standardize your knowledge. You're coming through what we call HR practitioners route. And it brings you to membership rate of ACIPM. Then if you have been an executive, so there are people who are CEOs, though they are not called by the name HR manager, they are not called by the name CHRO, but all the decisions relating to people, all the decisions relating to the growth of the organization, they are taking those decisions. So we bring them through what we call executive route, and we assess them, they go through rigorous assessment. And of course, if they are qualified, they come through the grade of full member, FMCIPM. For now, there's nobody that comes in directly to fellow. You have to grow into it. So for more, we have the membership route that cater to the needs of the academia. So the people in the academic setting, they are there. Of course, we ensure that we take good care of them. So there are different criteria for them as well. They are researching and what they teach and all that. The supervision achievement in supervising project or thesis. So we look through all those and ensure that we assess them in line with what they do. Of course, there are people in the military and paramilitary. We take care of what they do as well. There is a route of membership. So if you need further clarification, as you can see, you can visit www.cipmnigeria.org. And if there is a need for further clarification, there is a director in charge of membership and market development. You can reach him, Olutayo Lawali, at cipmnigeria.org. Then the phone number is there. Thank you very much for listening. Questions and answer time. Thank you for having me here. Over to you, TA.
So thank you so much for coming, and that is a very extensive and comprehensive presentation. And yeah, so it's you're always elaborating on things. I mean, it's more comprehensive than when you come the last time. One of the things that also I like about CIPM is different programs, improvements, development, collaborations, that we've experienced in the last 1 or 2 years. I think we had this program sometime 2022, and in the space of 2 years, there's been tremendous improvements, collaborations, even in your programs. And so, I mean, I'm very, 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 very proud to associate with this organization. And yeah, we'll continue to do our best to encourage members, member of the community, members of the public, anybody at all who is willing and have interest in HR. We'll continue to redirect them to CIPM. Yeah. So thank you so much once again. Thank you, George. Now we have some questions. So I don't know if you are if you are here and you have a question you want to ask that question directly. Can you please raise your hand, or you just signify by sending that question to the chat box? While I'm waiting for that, I will take a few questions that was sent to us privately. One is, first one says, do I still need HRCI certificates even though I have CIPM? So I think that question is to, it can actually be to both of you. So is there a need for international certificates if you already have CIPM? So who wants to take that? Does Judge want to take that? Or yeah.
I can answer why it might be relevant to have still an international certification from HRCI. So without a doubt, if you're a practitioner of human resources in Nigeria, CIPM is going to provide you with the resources, the support, and as an association, the networking ability, right? But when it comes to, as I mentioned during my presentation, to the global environment in which we're all living in and all the different trends and things that are happening and the involvement of multinational corporations in many different countries in Nigeria with the oil, with energy, there's a lot of foreign investment. I would say that you always want to be in contact with what's happening in the rest of the world. And you always want to be ready to know what is going to be your next move. And I do know that a lot of people from Nigeria are immigrating to Canada and to other places looking for other opportunities. So if you're looking to do something like that, if you want to leave your doors open, an international certification is going to help you to be in that environment. Something that I like to always mention is go to LinkedIn, search for some of the credentials that I mentioned, APHRI, PHRI, SPHRI, or GPHR, and you will find hundreds of certified professionals from all over the world. And look at their profiles, look at what they're doing, look at the companies they work for, look at the evolution of their careers. If you see somebody that is like, that's what I want to do, that's the person that I want to be in 5-10 years, that's going to give you a sense of whether or not this is going to be for you. And I also like to say that as an international certification body, we always want to have people from all over the world to influence how our certifications are built. And Nigeria is actually the largest community that we have outside of the United States. So we have a lot of Nigerians who help us to develop our exam, but we always need more from different walks of life, different professions, different sectors. And what we call subject matter experts, which are those individuals who help us to develop the exams. You could be one of those if you're certified. You would come to the United States to meet with the rest of the team for 1-2 weeks, put together the exam. So that's something that you're interested in, to really be an influencer into what HR is all about. That could be part of why you would want to be HRCI certified. I often say, it's not that we, HRCI, make you, the HR professional, better. It's the other way around. It's that good HR professionals choose HRCI as the international certification body to show that they are really committed to the profession. So if you're one of those professionals, we definitely want you, and I'll leave it at that.
All right, interesting. Thank you so much for answering that question. Yeah, let me take another question. Do I have any question in the chat box. Okay, so I can see one. I'm saying, thank you, Mr. Benga, for your presentation. I would like to get further clarity on the 3-yearly recertification program. Does this mean that once we get certified, we must apply for the certification every 3 years? Then what happens when one fails to apply? And lastly, is recertification free? So that question is directed to Benga, but then I think also HIC also have a certification, but let's hear from Benga the first.
Okay, thank you very much for that question. The clarification is that at the stage where you are certified as either ACIPM or MCIPM, so you been certified to have qualified, have the minimum standard of knowledge and competence is required to be called HR professional. So after 3 years, we know the volatility in the happenings of in the business environment now, what is happening. We note that it is highly volatile. Sorry, excuse me, there's a distraction here.
It's all right.
Okay, thank you. I'm back.
Yes.
So, you know, when you're at home, children are around you, they want to distract you from there. So there is this validity. The shelf life of knowledge is within 3 years. So there are a lot of things that we expect that must have happened. So we want to see you being current and being of significant value, being someone we can be proud of, that you are carrying our valid license. So if you are not validating your license, you are not validating after 3 years. Yes, you are still on the register of CIPM for as long as you are paying your subscription. Only that will tell the entire world that your license has expired. So if your license expires and the employers are aware that your license has expired, because we do publish from time to time the names of people with active license on the website, and anybody can come and check, validate your currency in terms of our current year, in terms of the human resource management practice. So we do that. So in order not to demarket or devalue yourself, it is very, very important that you, from time to time, ensure that you are up to date in terms of what is required as a knowledge and skill. That is the essence of the revalidation and recertification through HR practitioner's license. Then the fee involved is just 15,000 naira. Okay, there are two routes. There are people who have done different things in terms of maybe you have facilitated, you have attended courses and all that. All those things have credit points that they are given to you. And for as long as you're able to accumulate 60 points within those 3 years, you will be recertified through what we call the work activities route. So you've done so many things, you've worked and you have accumulated those credit points. Then there are people, yes, they have knowledge, they are reading, they are studying, they do not relent in effort, though they may not have the entire opportunity to accumulate those 60 points. So there is a scenario-based assessment that we do, and it comes in terms of examination. So for those people who are going through the work activity, there's administrative fee of recertification, just 15,000 naira. And for those people who will go through the assessment, testing through examination, it is 17,000 naira because there's a cost of technology. So from anywhere you are across the globe, you can take your recertification examination. So that's my answer, short answer to that question. Have I addressed everything that that person wants to know?
Yes, thank you. And yeah, so the recertification point, I'll ask a quick question on that. The recertification point, how do people file like you actually, like you are presenting this class now, right? Or
Yes.
facilitating this session, and you
Yes.
want to use that for, as part of the, certification point for your certification. How do you
Yes.
submit that? What do you need to do?
Okay, but I want to use that. So for instance, now my organization is aware that I'm here. You
Yeah,
understand?
I'm
Because
saying
uh,
not as a CIPM,
no. That's what I'm saying. So you need to produce the evidence.
Okay.
It's evidence based.
Okay.
Okay, if you are facilitating, there should be some kind of evidence that you are going to show that you have
Okay.
facilitated this,
Like
verifiable,
invitation letter.
like the invitation letter, and
Okay.
of course, if you
Certification
have
of
a
certificate of
certificate, there are people,
appreciation. Okay.
yes, like
Okay.
certificate of appreciation, letter of appreciation, and all that.
Okay.
So you
Okay.
present it, and so you upload it. So and it is self-service. You just go through your portal, you click on the license revalidation, and you go through the process. You submit all the evidences, and you go ahead.
All right.
Yes.
Interesting. Thank you so much for that. Then, Fatimon, I don't know if the question you have is related to this particular question we are treating. So let me hear from you so that we can treat it once and for all before we move to the next question. Fatima Mohammed, please unmute your mic. All right. I cite Abimbola Shilade, Coach. Coach, good evening, welcome. Thanks for joining. And now we have a question here. Okay, yes, it is, but I cannot unmute. You should be able to unmute. I've asked you to unmute, so I've sent you a message to unmute. Yeah, Temitope Ojo, please, can you unmute as well?
Okay, good evening.
Good evening.
My question is this. Okay. I saw on the website that maybe someone can become a member through maybe practice or something. So my question is this. There's something I actually saw on that website that I read that is not really clear to me. Is it that you have to be in a managerial position for 5 years? That's what I want clarity on.
Okay. Linga spoke briefly about that, so let's say briefly, extensively, but maybe you can recap. Yes, just that.
Okay. Okay. So what we are asking for is that you must have been at a supervisory role, supervisor at least. Okay. That you have people that you are managing, and of course you have been able to manage effectively, because the certification is about people management. It is about people management. You must have attained at least supervisory role for you to qualify for that. Thank you. So if you don't have that, then you can go through examination. If you are not up to that yet, you can go through the examination route.
All right. So what's the cost implication for this executive route for those who meet up that requirement?
Okay, for the executive route, I know there is application fee. The entire thing from beginning to the end for the executive route is about 520,000, if my brain doesn't fail me. However, it is not something that you are required to pay upfront or at the same time. So starting with the application, I do tell people any process, anything you want to take, just start first with the application. The day you are going to write a JAMB, the day you wanted to commence your process towards going to university, the first thing you do is to pick up that form. So submit the form, and every other thing will follow thereafter.
Yeah, so you commit yourself, then you see a way through it. Yes, interesting.
So
yeah,
that's what happened.
All right, thank you so much. Then there's a question here. I can unmute now. Okay, so Fatima, go ahead and unmute. Let's quickly hear from you.
Hey, good evening. I hope you can hear me now.
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. George and Mr. Benga, for the wonderful presentation. I'm happy to say that I am a member of the CIPM, and I'm also about to write my SPHR exam, hopefully, anytime soon. So my question is for CIPM. I've been an ACIPM and got an invite for upgrade to the member grade. And I have uploaded certain evidence of active HR participation, but I think I have just about 5, maybe about 10 or 15 points short of 60. And I'm wondering, I'm of course going to upload more. So I'm wondering how long I have to do that, whether that invite would expire or I'd have to wait for another year. Please, if you can clarify or refer me to who I would speak with concerning that. Thank you.
Okay.
Right.
If I heard you clearly, you want to upgrade, but for you to validate your license, right?
Yes, that's right.
For you to validate your license, you have, okay, there are you have two options. Is either number one, for you to wait until you get the credit point required, go through the work activity. That is the first option. This is the option you have opted for. However, you have alternative option. And I mentioned that earlier, that there is a scenario-based assessment, and that's been scheduled to hold March 16. Okay, so you'll see scenario-based question just to ensure that we test your knowledge that you are still current. Okay, even though you do not have enough credit points yet, we test your knowledge through some kind of scenario-based question. 1 round 20 questions in 3 hours. That, and of course, the cutoff mark is 60%. You must have scored 60% for you to qualify for that. However, in terms of the validity of the invite, that the upgrade interview is every time across the year. We don't have season for it. It doesn't stop anywhere. So anytime you are ready, and of course you have validated, just inform the institute. So you go with the next batch of the upgrade interview. But upgrade interview is ongoing, any moment, anytime. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. I have a question unattended up here. Yes, I see. So there's a question from Emmanuel. What is the possibility of practicing HR in Canada or the USA with SPHRI certification? And that's to George.
Yeah, so in Canada, they have their national certification. I believe it's called a CHRP. But we also have a lot of people in Canada who are certified with the US certifications or with the international certifications, precisely because of what I was mentioning before of multinational corporations, maybe operating in North America, Canada, US, and Mexico. So again, it really depends on the type of job that you're looking for, but the SPHRI will be definitely recognized in Canada, as we see a lot of people who are certified there. After the United States, then Nigeria is the most the largest community that HRCI has, but after that is Canada. So as you can imagine, we have people certified there as well.
All right, thank you so much for that. You've had him, Emmanuel. That's a possibility. Okay. Apologies, just a minute. Apologies. We have a question here that says, thank you, Mr. George and Mr. Benga. I have a graduate degree, but not in HR or any relevant field. However, I am looking into going into HR. How can I start? Also, I took some HR online courses on Coursera and Udemy with certificates. Are they valid on my resume? All right, so what's your advice for Oluwa?
Okay. Okay, let me start. Maybe George can add. So for CIPM, from CIPM's point of view, there is a provision for people, even though they don't have educational background and HR-related courses. Like I mentioned earlier, one profession that cuts across all other professions is HR. So there is examination route, and there is a starting point even for people with pure science background. So you need to go through the examination route. And there's no knowledge that is lost. So the exposure through the online courses that you have taken in this direction going to help you and support you in writing your examination, because we know that you have gained some kind of insight into what HR is all about. So it's a welcome idea, and the CIPM as a route for you through which you can become a member. Thank you. And of course, let me add as well that we have a lot of people. For instance, the immediate past president of the institute was an engineer. Okay, he was an engineer, and before he went to HR, and we have two people who have become even president of CIPM. So today, one of them was Mr. Abiola Popola, a biochemist. And so by academic background, but they came to HR, they went through certification, and they became great people, very good at what they do. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much for that. So do you want to also share an insight to that, George, how it works with your
Sure.
organization?
So the degrees that we accept for the requirements don't need to be in HR, but the experience, the professional experience, does have to be in HR. So in this case, in this specific scenario, somebody who has a degree not in HR, it doesn't matter, but with no HR experience, the APHRI, which is the one that doesn't require any prior HR experience, would be the best one. And then in terms of the certificates and some of those online options that we see in the market, I think those are really good if you're kind of getting into what HR is all about, to see if you really don't have a background, you don't have an academic background in HR, maybe take some of those courses, because if that's what's of interest, then the next step would be to either go to university for that, or to get a professional certification in that specific space. So they're helpful to discover something, but I don't think that they have the same level. A certificate is not a certification. I think that's something that we try to explain as often as we can. Thank you.
Thank you, George. There's a question here, and I think that question is directed to Binga. I've been having difficulty registering for my CIPM examination online, but can't upload my statement of results since I am yet to get my BSc certificate. What other route can I take, please?
Okay, if you don't have your certificate, BSc or HND yet, so you cannot start any program in CIPM, because it is a requirement. First degree is a requirement. Even if you are going to write examination, first degree is a requirement. So all you need to do, if you have finished but you are yet to get a certificate, if you get a result, statement of results, that is duly signed by the relevant authority of the university, so you can upload it. So we are going to assess it, validate it, and ensure that we'll do the background check that validate that or authenticate that. Once we're able to do that successfully, you don't have an issue. You can come in through the examination route if you don't have the post-graduation experience required for other routes of membership. Thank you. Hello, TA. You are muted. We can't hear you.
Yeah, apologies for that. I didn't know I was still on. Okay, so I think this person's problem here is that the person has registered. The person is, I don't know whether I say wants to write an exam, and he can't upload I think this person should just visit your office, right? Yeah. your
Okay,
head
I
office,
think you
maybe.
said the statement of result is not ready or something.
No,
Maybe
he
I didn't
said he
hear.
has a statement of results, but can't upload. Probably
Okay, cannot
the
upload.
upload is not accepting it.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. If the person has a statement of result, you can visit the office, and of course, my number can be released to that person. We find out what is happening, and of course, we can resolve everything. There's no problem.
All right. Okay.
Yes.
So I get your message, George. Let me see if there's any last one question. We need to bring this to a close. Actually, it's been a long day coming, and it should be around either morning or afternoon in US. So thank you for staying through. What happens if one is unable to renew his or HLCR certification with the number of the certification units before the deadline? So yeah, this is a perfect question for you, George, before you go. And maybe another one question for you is, can HRCI be used globally for when applying HR positions, especially in Europe and America and continent? I think you have answered that. Yeah.
Yes,
So
that one's an easy one. Yes, they recognize. I go back to my statement about go to LinkedIn, type GPHR, SPHRI, and look where people are located and the positions that they hold. That's going to give you a sense of how broad is the recognition. To the point of what happens if you do not recertify within the 3-year cycle that you're supposed to, your credential will go into suspended status, and you have 12 months in which you can still renew your recertification, but it's going to cost you $100 extra fee to process that recertification. If you have any problems as you approach your recertification cycle, finding recertification credits, get in contact with our team. They will be able to guide you if you're interested in webinars, if you're interested in online courses, if you're interested in conferences. They can tell you where you can find some of those to make sure that you give yourself time to make it happen. But you can start earning credits from the minute that you get certified, and plan ahead for the 3 years that you need to do it. I'm also certified with the Project Management Institute, have my PMP. I took that exam 2 years ago, and within the first year, I was able to watch a lot of LinkedIn Learning videos. I took a couple of courses also, and within 1 year, I was also already set to recertify. I don't have to recertify for another year, but I know that I'm good to go. And that's kind of the best way to do it, to start early, to create that habit of continuous learning, which is something that I would say is the most important thing that you're going to get with a certification. Just like with a university degree, you're going to get the knowledge and the how to prepare and study for something. A certification is going to help you to build the continuous learning. The workforce of the future is going to be learning every single month, every 3 months, every 6 months, getting certificate certifications, continuous learning, because there's so much that is changing that you cannot assume that with the degree that you have from a university from 5-10 years ago, you're going to be able to survive in the workspace the rest of your career. So there's always learning, and a certification is going to build that muscle of being always up to date. Thank you. Thanks,
all right,
everybody.
thank you. Thank you. One last question for you before you go, please. What are the requirements for enrollment for HLCI and the cost implication? I think this person is speaking from Nigeria. So
it depends on the exam. I didn't speak about specific costs for the exams because each one of them has a different cost. If you are applying on your own as an individual, when you go to the website, look for hrci.org and then look for APHRI, PHRS, PHRI, you will see the prices. If you're looking for a preparation course, look at the providers that are in Nigeria. The main one that we work with is Certification Edge. Certification Edge has years of experience with this. Hundreds of people go through their program, and with success. They take it seriously. They understand what we're trying to do. They really have a well-developed program. So if you're looking for an instructor that guides you through that process, check with them. They're probably going to have the best price, even better than whatever we're able to offer you on our website. I do realize that the currency exchange with US dollars is a significant issue for those of you in Nigeria. So our local partners are able to work with you with payments and installments and that sort of solution.
all right. So thank you so much, George, and thank you so much to Benga for spending your evening with us today. So I'll quickly make a presentation of this certificate of appreciation on behalf of HROTA community. We appreciate you, and we pray that God will continue to bless you, continue to bless your organization. And that's to you, George, and that's to you also, Inga. Thank you so much. If there's any other question that we cannot take now due to time, we are definitely going to compile those questions and send them across to you. And also you have their social media handles, right? Guys, follow them and then utilize that opportunity for continuous engagement on how you can progress in these two prestigious HR certification institutes. So thank you, Gbenga.
Thank you so much, Temitope. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, George. Good night. Bye for now.
Bye. All right, guys. Thank you for making it a day. It's exactly 9 p.m. 2 hours